Welcome, everybody. Come on down, come on down, come on in. We got an exciting show here planned for y'all. Come on down. Good evening. It is Monday. Normally, we're not here on a Monday, but we make exceptions for special people. And we are here on a Monday because we have a special show this evening for you. And I want to invite you to come on down and ring the bell. The bell has rung. All right, you're not ringing the bell. The bell has rung, so come on down. Class is about to start. All right, we have the lovely Natasha Yeeloy Labad is going to be joining us here this evening. We're gonna be talking. Natasha and I will probably go off topic a lot tonight, but that's okay. Because y'all will get the message. All right, it's a lovely evening, and I'm wearing my wig. This is one of the Foxy wigs. Listen, guys, I got so many wigs and I'm ready. I'm ready for them. I'm going to be wigging. It's wigging season, okay? So come on in, share the live. Welcome aboard. Let me know where you're locked in from. We have an interesting conversation. We're going to be talking outsourced development. We're going to be talking about Natasha and all of the services that she offers, all of the things that she does. Hi, Tyrone. And boy, Tyrone is logging in already. Tyrone's like, I'm logged in. People from Zimbabwe, Ronnie, all the way in Zimbabwe. Good evening, Ronnie. It's good to have you on. Come on down, guys. Come on down. Welcome to the show. Show is brought to you by Outsource Development. My name is Jael Joseph. This is Jael Joseph Live. Welcome, everybody. And we're going to be talking to Natasha, like I said. So those of you on YouTube, those of you on Facebook, I encourage folks to log into the YouTube space as much as they possibly can, because the reruns are often viewed there. If you have to go back, you have to fast forward, or you want to rewind, you missed something, you want to listen to it again, you're welcome to do so on YouTube. Facebook, unfortunately, drops the live after 1 month. So it stays on for a month and then it drops it. So I like to encourage folks to log on to the YouTube link, which is pinned right in the chat. So you can go ahead and you can view from there, or if you wish to, you can continue to remain right here as we discuss. We have lots to talk about this evening, but I think for like the longest while, we were telling people that we were sisters. I don't know about her, but I know people have asked me before. People met me, they're like, you look like this lady. I go, who, Natasha? They're like, yes. Are you guys? I say, yeah, she's my sister. And I just leave it alone. I do it that way, and I know people believe me. But she's my sister. She's my Black Island sister. She's my sister. She's my Dominican sister. So I'm telling people, going around telling, well, I'm not telling them. They initiate the conversation, and I just confirm the information. I've been going around telling people that she is my sister, because people felt that we looked alike. I think we looked more like when we were we had a little bit more thickness on us when we were ficus. Because we were ficus together. Now we're on a road to being skinny. No, we're on a road to continue to look pleasantly plump with a little less dump in our trunk. All right, we're definitely looking and living our best lives. Natasha has launched so many different initiatives through her outsource development brand, and I don't want to spill the beans on who she is. I want her to tell you about what she does, about her company, what has inspired it, what demands she's trying to meet. And we'll probably even talk a little bit about, the fact that she took this big leap of faith right before the pandemic. Like, who does that? All right, Natasha, apparently. All right. So I don't want to wait any longer. I want to encourage you, before I bring her on, to share the live, tag someone, let someone in, and we're going to welcome to the show Natasha Yeeloy Labad. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Jael. Thank you so much for having me. And good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are connecting. I'm so pleased to be here. And as Jael has said, I am representing my company and brand, Outsource Development, in the capacity as the CEO and lead consultant. And I'm sure Jael said we're going to go off topic. I'm really going to try to stay focused because I do have a team that they
You're on
keep
your case.
they always on my case. But yes, I'm so pleased to be here and talking about my full-time passion, my dream, outsource development. And I guess as we get going, I will tell you a little bit more. And Jill, I don't want to steal the thunder and take take
Well,
over.
I was about to tell you Happy International Women's Day that we celebrated yesterday.
Yes,
So
yes,
all of you CEO bosses, all of you women entrepreneurs and innovators and creators and medical professionals and all of you out there,
yes.
including you, Natasha, Happy International Women's Day. It is a wonderful thing to be a woman.
It is the time, especially the time that we are in right now, Jael. There has been so many sacrifices for us, not just as Black women, but Black women from the Caribbean, Black women of African descent, Black women who may be of African descent with a little sprinkle of Talinago blood. I think it's a very positive time with all of the changes, and there are people who have died to make sure that we have the opportunity that we have now to speak and to have a platform and to be able to advocate. So yes, happy International Women's Day to you too.
Thank you. Thank you. And to all of you viewing, if you're a woman, these days you have to say if you identify as a woman, if you're a woman. Um, Natasha's like, I mean, I have my own
Yeah,
feelings about that, which I believe I can speak on a different time and in a different setting. But it's wonderful to be a woman. It's good to be a mom. It's good to be in your feminine energy because and that's something that I want you to talk a little bit about tonight, Natasha, because as a lot of the times as women bosses, we tend to be in our masculine energy a lot because we're managing businesses, we're managing people, we're managing homes, we're managing food, we're managing children. We still have to manage ourselves, our mental health. It's a lot,
process systems, it's a lot.
right? And we definitely will often, and I feel like for a long time in my life I was in my masculine energy, like I was just like I was just sitting long in it, and until I learned that this was not really good for me, like, and I like turned it off. There needs to be a time and place where we turn it off so
Yeah.
that we can go back to being a women and being soft and being have doors open for, 'cause yeah, we still want the doors open for us. I want the doors open for me.
Yes.
I want the chairs pulled for me. I want to be given I like you to learn my love language. I want you to do all of these things as a woman. These are things that I appreciate, and yeah, I feel like as boss women, we tend to often forget that part, and even with how we deal with our partners and within our home, we tend to be
Yeah.
bossy and we tend to, oh, it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
you know because we're women CEOs. What is that like for you?
I
what is it
mean,
like being a boss?
I'm definitely pro family, so that definitely means that I have had to, I think, over the years, particularly when I just got married, I had to learn how to tone it down and also to sort of really value my husband's perspective. And sometimes I realized in the early days, like I had my boss woman, independent woman lens, like always. That perspective was always front and center. And I think with time I have really had to allow myself to be vulnerable, particularly when you make plans as a CEO and they do not work out. Also, I've had to rely very heavily on the support of my husband. I mean, he is still my biggest fan, and that's a big turn on for me. I mean, I'm sure he was the first person to log in on this link,
What?
and I feel so I feel so fulfilled to know that I am able to be successful in my professional life and still maintain a successful relationship. I mean, if I'm on Kyrie, if I'm on DBS, my husband is the first person on the link, and that's so big up to Daddy T one time. But I
Daddy, yes, he's your daddy.
Daddy.
Daddy, I love that for you.
Hi, Daddy. I mean, we have to find ways, JL,
I
to,
love it.
but
Daddy, you're gonna get some extra later. It is, buddy.
but yes, but from that perspective, yes, and then obviously within the boardroom,
Mhm.
I think for my career, I came up really quickly and had to sort of learn to distinguish, my professional and personal relationships, and also how to put myself out there as confident, and strategic, and oftentimes that needed me to be able to separate, all of the challenges with womanhood. There are a lot of things that women face. There was a time when I was a single mom because my husband was, out of Dominica, lived, we were married, but he was out of Dominica. And there was a time when I was a hustler, and my first daughter always remind me, Mommy, you remember when we used to buy two-piece KFC and share that between ourselves and be full? Mommy, tell me the truth. You are struggling, you're a struggling mom. So,
Boy,
you grow, you definitely grew, and that has contributed to me being able to manage it. I have a team of very dynamic women who are very focused. I have doctors, people who are PhDs, people, and so I think it helps to be able to, yes, recognize and understand my femininity, but also that there are times when I would have to be a little bit more firm, and yeah.
that's wonderful. I love how we started because that will lead me now. For the viewers who might be hearing about your company for the very first time, introduce us to Outsource Development Studio and explain to us what you do. Because I remember the first time I heard about your business, I was like, "What is you said customer service? What exactly does?" And I had to be schooled in it. So introduce the audience to Outsource Development Studio.
Okay, so my official title is Master Trainer Lead Consultant. Outsource is exactly what the word says. We are outsourcers. So this refers to any business process, system, function that a company would like to outsource to a hybrid team. Yours truly, a consultant, a contractor to take over. So think of your marketing. You want to outsource that? We can do that. You want to outsource your HR? We can do that. You want to outsource a special project? We can do that. Of course, we have special pillars, focus, and these are things that we consider passion projects. So anything related to development projects. So we have worked with USAID, we have worked with World Bank, we have worked with a number of international agencies doing development work. These are passion projects for us. We also do a lot of corporate training. This is our thing, our passion. And so many of the clients that come to us for doing corporate trainings, helping with people and executive support sessions, impact sessions. And then the third passion project for us would be outsourcing of your payroll. So we have a number of clients who are based out of Dominica, who do not have a physical business in Dominica, but they have teams of people that they hire in Dominica. So, for example, the Marine SETI project, that is, an example of one of our clients. We have the Rosalie Distillery, that's an example of one of our clients. So we help with hiring farmers and help with their contractors, and we pay their people and make sure that, statutory bodies are paid and that sort of thing. So think of any process, emphasis on process, and also emphasis on legal process that you would like to outsource. You need a BPO, a business process outsourcer, and that would be the outsource team. So myself, and I have a team of 5 individuals, and we make up the outsource consulting office.
Tell me what inspired you to create an outsourcing or BPO as you call it.
So the first thing was that I am a fire person. I am always very optimistic about the possibilities of projects that can be done, funds that can be raised, people that can be impacted. And so that was the first thing I always, even if I am full-time engaged, at the time when I was full-time engaged as an employee, I would always be writing grants, winning grants, and implementing community projects. Is it buying a distillery or helping people with essential oils or helping single moms? So that was always a thing. I realized that, oh, I like doing projects. The second thing is I became bored very quickly. So I am not someone that I don't do very well in an operational side. I could never be an accountant. Actually, the only time I was fired was when I just left university in the UK and I got hired in a factory. And I would spend so much time in the factory, like talking to people, hi, what's up, everything good. And then the guy was like, have you done this yet? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get to that. And I was
You're busy talking.
so I realized, oh my God, I'm that kind of person that, I really like, working with people and inspiring people. And so Outsource was birthed out of my passions of helping people with projects. I'm doing my side gigs, which always related to capacity trainings, which always related to development work, which always related to doing policies and governance, things that a lot of people don't always get excited about. And there was one day that I realized like my part-time gigs are taking over. Are taking over. And I just thought, let me, if I can do this for other people, after I'd done it enough for a lot of people and a lot of high profile people, I really became inspired and empowered. And I became a master trainer and did a lot of, courses, and boom, launch out and boom, shakalaka, COVID, come and say, what you going to do now? So
Wow.
yes.
Before we talk about COVID and COVID's entrance into your life and into all our lives, um, tell me a little bit about, because you've given us some of what you do, but what are some of the what are some of the things, just in case somebody is thinking about hiring a BPO? What are some of the jobs that would normally fall under your portfolio?
So most of these jobs are things that are special projects that the company, um, systems that they want to change, or they want to introduce new processes, or they've identified that they want to do these capacity development initiatives, but they don't have internally, they have not identified the skill sets within the organization. So for example, somebody wants to, I don't know, they realize that there's lots of conflict in the workplace, and they want someone who's objective, who comes from outside the organization, who can see the issues from an objective perspective and help the team to understand themselves, and also to put certain things in place that long term the team will be able to benefit from increasing capacity, but the organization will be able then to develop governance policies or frameworks that can support the organization long term. So for example, if you want to decide that you're going to change your software, or if you decide that you were going to, let's say you have schools and you need a consultant to come in and help with, I don't know, doing an assessment, a gap assessment, or skills audit, or customer service audits. These are some of the things that you might want to outsource it to someone who is not within the organization, who is removed from all of the drama of the everyday workflows, and or who is not bogged down by the 9 to 5 operation. So some organizations are very busy, and while the teams would like to have time for really strategic decision making, the 9 to 5 hustle can make that really, really difficult. So having a consultant come in who can really focus in on the support that you need can really simplify that for you. Another example, the final example I would give is you want to do recruitment, and maybe you are not happy with the results that you've been getting, and you want someone to come in and help you, develop SOPs, develop job descriptions, and just help you go through that process in an objective way so that you can have the outcomes that you're looking for. So these are just a few examples of the actual like things if somebody's thinking. And for example, if someone wants to do a marketing campaign and they want someone to come and help them develop a marketing campaign, whether we do it ourselves or we outsource it to Jael, Joseph. The point is, we are a one-stop shop for helping people to make their business better. So that can be anything. It can be to fire. They have to lay off staff. They have to do something that is massive that they think that it's going to be too personal. They're not going to be, able to remove themselves. Then we
Mhm.
would be a partner of choice for something like that.
Natasha, a lot more companies are outsourcing in the world. They turn into that because obviously people want to keep their costs as low as
That's
possible during a period of time. So a company might say, "Oh, we don't always need marketing, or we don't always need that aspect of it." But during that specific time, because we just launched a new product, once it becomes on stream, then we're good. That your role comes into play where you can be out they could utilize your service to outsource that sort of business. But this also comes with a lot of misconceptions that people may have. What are some of the misconceptions that you feel people have about outsourcing?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions, sometimes people, while they want the help, they do not always feel comfortable with sort of opening up their organization and their process and their systems to someone that they view as, a third party, someone
Mhm.
who is within the organization. I think the other thing is, people maybe think that we are billing them for time that we're not necessarily, spending on their projects. I think that's one of the, challenges that sometimes people can have because they don't physically see you in an office space.
Mhm.
Sometimes they tell themselves, like I have a few clients who know that there's AI is a big thing and there's chat GPT and Claude. They were like, so what, we don't necessarily need Natasha. And one of the things that I think I have had to increasingly do is to talk about my value. Why would you want to have that human touch? Why would you want to have someone who understands people and can bring that deeper human element and bring that perspective? And yes, ChatGPT can give you a great prompt, but then it's how do you, for example, you may search up how to lay off someone, but then chat gpt may, that human element is something that never goes away. And so I think that misconception that, people have, is, they want to physically see you because they don't want you to be billing time, and they that and you're outside on
That
the on
feels like a micromanager's.
pool. You're on the pool side, you know. Um,
Yes.
I think the other thing is obviously the world is changing a little bit. So, for example, I've had increasingly a lot of companies reach out to me from the US to provide support, which is great for me. But it also comes with other challenges. So, particularly, travel. How do we navigate, the dimensions of, sometimes language. So I'll give you an example. There are clients who want us to do work with persons who are of a Haitian background and they speak French Creole, and they're very happy. Oh yes, you can understand Creole, but sometimes it's a different type
Eh,
of Creole, and sometimes they don't necessarily understand that. So when you're developing the programs, and you ask, for example, to have someone who can do translations, they like, why you speak the same Creole? So there are always little nuances that, with each client, and then of course the time difference. Sometimes when they are going to sleep, you are just waking up. So, you always have those little, those little things that come with the territory.
Traditionally, we know that outsourcing has been associated. Why are local Caribbean based BPOs becoming more attractive?
I want to believe that within the Caribbean, I mean, we are very highly educated. I mean, many of us are very liberal, and we I want to say we tend to be well rounded. We have a very strong work ethic, and so uh, that has been sort of a major sell factor. I think some of our biggest clients in North America, our time zone is a great, plus. We are only an hour or two off at most,
Sometimes.
sometimes.
Yes, like right now we're back on schedule, I think, for the most part, except with LA and these other
LA
places.
and California,
Yeah.
but we tend to find that the element of traveling, and being able to, if I have to do a conference or if I just have to do some in person, we can do a direct flight, we get to Miami or get to New York, and that has been an option for persons in the sense of there is also the currency, exchange rate. So
Mhm.
persons now starting to think, I mean, we can go to the Philippines, but we can also, come to the Caribbean. And because we have so many diaspora, I pick up my diaspora family one time who work in very strategic positions. I find they are increasingly paving a path and opening a doorway for Caribbean professionals to be able to connect. And I think that is something that we should not discount. And I think this is another reason why you find companies are increasingly starting to think of the Caribbean. So I've hosted a trucking company within my, organization. I have clients as far from Israel, from the US. So I feel like we have a reputation as professional, and we can be, understood, and speaking English
There's no
speaking.
language barrier because we speak English, and
Yes,
they love the fact that we're Caribbean people are very hardworking.
yes,
So and there's it's becoming an increasing problem in North America where younger people are not necessarily and we probably overwork ourselves, but younger people in America are saying, you know what, I'm
yeah,
unable to work today, and they're okay with saying that and sitting on their couch and doing nothing.
yeah,
Whereas as Caribbean people, I've heard businessmen say, I will hire a Caribbean person any day over an indigenous
yeah,
whatever, over when I say indigenous to their country, that like somebody who was born and raised there. So because they value our work ethic and our output and everything, is highly valued. So kudos to you in recognizing and wanting to bridge that gap and already working at doing that. Um, in terms of economic growth and job creation in small economies like ourselves, in what ways would you say BPOs contribute to that?
I mean, in the early days within my business, I mean, it was difficult, for me, learning my industry, um, having to sort of remake myself constantly. So I mean, just like any other business, you constantly have to be, pushing and trying to, show up in your market space based on the needs of your people, based on the needs of your community, based on the needs of the Caribbean region. I think one of the things that I absolutely love that I have been able to do is when I facilitate organizations who are hiring local professionals. I love that I have been in a position where I can sort of facilitate my local brothers and sisters in terms of, champion their cause for healthcare, be able to negotiate, rates of pay that are far beyond, sometimes locally what they would have earned. I
Mhm.
love that these opportunities have transformed lives. I love that my training and the work that I do, where I am preparing people for our market space, that is very fulfilling. But I love to see the economic impact of what that means for persons. And I think oftentimes when people speak to me, I think one of the things that they very quickly realize is like, um, I am always looking for an opportunity. And so while I could have decided that I was going to not necessarily have to open an office and not necessarily have to hire individuals, I could have done it myself. Yes, maybe I would have not been as efficient, but all of that money would have been, I love the fact that through my work, I am able to empower people. Through my work, and many of the people who have come through my organizations, they've got, I probably have about 3 or 4 persons who have gone on to study. I have persons in Canada. I have a Harvard. I have a young lady who worked with me. She is at Harvard. I have another young lady who is now a doctor, and that gives me, I mean, that makes it gives me a sense of,
Accomplishment brings you joy.
it really brings me joy because
Oh, you're getting emotional.
there was a time in my life where I really didn't feel understood in the workplace. And that was because I had bosses that really challenged me. Not that they hated me, but they really, really challenged me. They would really, really make me feel like, oh my God, I need to go and open my office, because I cannot take that again. But these people really challenge me, and when I really think about some of the executives that I've worked with, I mean, yes, we may have fought, and I pull my hair out and I cry, but I left all of my places of employment on good terms. And I feel like while they have poured into me, I really feel that I've been empowered to pour into others. And I feel proud about that. I've probably trained over 3,000 people here in Dominica and across the region. And I'm very, very proud of that. So
That sounds wonderful, Natasha.
you make me cry. So
Tears, tears of joy.
yeah.
Tears of joy, of course. You think I'm gonna join you on there? I'm like, don't you even think about it? When you wear concealer, you're not going to make my concealer run, and I'm wearing a powder that I don't even said that nothing. And this was not supposed to be a Miss Player on show.
I know, right? So I can be dramatic like that. The people who know me know that.
Let's dive into hybrid teams and modern business. What exactly does that mean for your space, for you, for a BPO's space? You know,
Yes.
I assume that this is a constant thing.
Yes.
If you could highlight something
So,
about.
I mean, the physical space that I occupy as my office is 3 rooms, and the conference room and training facility, we have utilized that space as a hybrid environment to allow, I mean, we are church on Saturday. In the week we host trainings and conferences, and we host other offices within our space, independent contractors and consultants. So that in itself, the hybrid model works because we allow other persons to have a professional space where they can meet clients, where they can conduct business at a very affordable rate. And then for us, I mean, in terms of a hybrid team, I mean, we we have clients in Florida, we have clients in Israel, we have clients in the US, we have clients here in Dominica, we have clients in Grenada. So it means as a hybrid team, we constantly have to be upskilling, we constantly have to be talking to each other because we don't want to miss deliverables that will impact our clients. As a hybrid team, sometimes we can very quickly, when companies downsize, the first people that tend to go is the people that are not seen, because they don't see. So as a hybrid team, it means that we are constantly having to show our value, be engaged, make sure that when our clients need something, that we show up for that something. And constant learning and remaking of ourselves. And so I would encourage young persons, there are lots of persons who they don't like learning new things. They don't like change. They don't like being made uncomfortable. They don't like putting themselves out there. I would definitely say to you, to be honest, Jael, when I first started, I couldn't even articulate and explain my business because me myself could not even self out explain what is a BPO. In fact, the way the name came about, I think I was looking at TV and I said, that is exactly who I am. When I really think about it, and I said, let me go and see if that name available, and I registered that name. But it took me a little while to really truly understand all of the possibilities. And sometimes you really don't know. You just kind of have to put one step in front of the other. So I would encourage persons to, even if you have a 9 to 5, you can outsource your skill set, you can outsource your voice, you can outsource your idea, you can outsource, to add value to an organization. Go on Upwork, register. You know how much money I paid Upwork? Thousands of dollars. Because um there are people out there, don't think that it's a stupid idea. There are people out there that could potentially want your service.
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things I wanted to touch on where hybrid teams are concerned, cost. Because there is the, I guess, the premise that it reduces cost while also maintaining quality. Can you expand on that for us?
Well, for some companies, it's obviously cost is a very big indicator. So, for example, you have a company in the US. I mean, while the exchange rate might, be a plus for us,
Yes.
if you have a company in euro that the exchange rate is a plus for us.
Hmm.
For them, it's, for them it might be minimum wage, but for us within our economy, you know, I think one of the things that people need to be aware of when they're connecting with hybrid teams or consultants, I think you just need to be careful that the people that you are contracting to support you really understand your mission and your vision and or the outputs and deliverables really clearly. Because if they don't, you can actually end up spending more money and having to do rework when you've outsourced this to someone and you feel like you might as well this is something that you could have done for yourself. So you always have to be very clear that this is what you want to achieve by having this consultant or this person, who do this work. I'll give you an example. There are lots of persons who live outside of Dominica, in the UK, in the US, and they get in touch with so-called professionals to purchase land, or people who pay bills, or people who manage properties, or just persons who can just facilitate maybe a build project. And there's so many horror stories about people who are just not happy with what they've been able to get. And this is where we say at Outsource, we make business better, because we don't start any project without having a service level agreement, which clearly states the scope of the work, what you get for the money that you're going to pay. This is when we start, this is when we end. We take a deposit. These are the deliverables that you like. We are very anal about that. And the reason we are is because it's our unique selling point, and we want to raise that standard. So if you're out there, you're trying to buy land, you're trying, not because someone has a title necessarily means that they're professional. you
Right.
know I
Right.
think another thing I would want to say is our company, we are part of the UN Global Compact, and there are principles that we align with. And that's something that I feel so proud of. We're a tiny dot of Dominica. We have professionals who are very passionate about, working at international best practice standards. And one of the things I'd say to someone before you outsource someone, just make sure that they have it's not just about them making a quick money and moving on to the next client. Make sure that they understand this is what you need, and this is what you want, and this is what's going to be paid. And yes, so make sure those contracts are tight, tight.
Mhm.
No Foxy jail contracts. Foxy jail contracts is I coming in 5, coming in 4. No, you have to know exactly. Yes, my congratulations.
My contract's tight too, you know. I don't play with my contract.
my,
Don't.
my dad called me.
The 5 4 3 2 1 is a countdown, you know.
I remember my dad. I don't know if this is a rated PG, or I remember my dad came to me and he wanted me to help him with a contract, and he says, "Babes, I need a tight with any contract." I was like, "Okay, daddy, no problem. I'll work. I'll give you a tight contract like that." So yes, just make sure those contracts and those agreements, like everybody agrees, and it's in the known that this is what you're going to get. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Um, Thanks for sharing that. How does technology enable hybrid teams to function seamlessly?
I mean, look at us, Jael. You're in the comfort of your studio. I'm in the comfort of my home, and we're connecting with persons online. And this would not have been possible maybe 10 years ago. I'd have to come to you. Yes, you have to hook me up with my connect everywhere. I mean, I could not do business without Zoom.
Well, 10 years ago,
Maybe.
yes. Probably not 15 years ago.
I don't want to say our age here. Can we just stick on this?
Because I started doing this in 2017. Like
Wow.
this.
Wow.
So
Oh,
and there were people doing it before me, not in this scale.
but
'Cause I consider myself to be the OG of doing this where the Caribbean is concerned, because nobody else was really doing this when I started.
yeah,
So yeah, technology has really evolved because we couldn't do Facebook lives, it was just not possible. There were so many things that we couldn't do, and
do. I
it's
mean, for me, like co-location, I mean, last year, for 2.5 years, I managed 5 countries under a project, and Zoom, Teams, project management software, of course, QuickBooks, all of these, being able to utilize AI to record meetings, to do minutes, so that you can, quickly get back to your, clients with what was said, what were the actions, what were the outcomes. Things like Canva. I literally remember every time I needed to do a flyer to pay $75, like I had like about 5 different young men like that would do flyers. Imagine the other day I was saying, Ridge, I remember you. I remember Ridge used to be my guy that would help with my little recordings. I mean, it's 365. I remember like the early beginnings and of how technology has just revolutionized my business in terms of training. I mean, I have clients that from the US that pay me to do training, and I utilize my school platform where I create courses, I upload it to my platform and they can access it at their own time. Then we do face-to-face live via Zoom. And I bring that same vava and excitement that I do within a physical space, because you just have to. And technology has empowered you to make online, tutoring and training possible in a very vivid way. So I
Mhm.
love technology. I'm married to a geek actually, and he's a tech guy. So I just love the fact that technology has empowered us and empowered outsource, because without, when the internet goes down, oh God, Jail. When the internet goes down, I get nervous because I never know. I always like to be able to respond to my clients within, a time
I have
frame.
two internet providers at mine because
Yeah.
I don't play. I'm like,
Yeah.
they both have to go down
Yeah.
for me to not be on.
Yeah. You can get with satellite because, like, for me, yeah,
Yeah,
I
I was waiting for Elon Musk to
yeah,
launch that satellite internet. I was like, I'll probably be the first one to jump on board, because when you're heavily reliant on technology, especially
yeah,
the internet for work, especially because you don't just work within the space on the confines of Dominica, you
no,
are definitely out,
yes,
out there, and you cannot.
you cannot. And I mean,
You can't even tell them lights go. Like
yes, and I mean, New York, like you have multiple clients. So you think my client wants to hear my sub story about because I had to
lights
travel
go,
to another client. I couldn't answer. No, my clients just want me to bring that energy of, yes, boss, we can get it done. No problem.
right?
That's not an issue. Like they don't want to hear my sad story. I was stuck in some airport. No, they they don't want that. They want results, and that's why they came to outsource. So love
We
the
have we have a question coming through. But before we jump into the question, I want us to complete the beef of the conversation. You mentioned, when COVID-19 hit, you had to reset, you had to pivot, you almost had to outsource yourself.
yes.
Tell us a little bit about that moment and what you were able to do. How did you come out from under it? Because it's very difficult. When you establish a business, you are told business 101, expect 2 years to make a loss. But imagine coming in knowing you're going to make a loss in 2 years, but not even making revenue.
Right.
You
Like when I first came in, my business was known as Outsource Recruitment.
know?
So a lot of what we did related to helping people find staff.
Mhm.
COVID, nobody hiring nobody. That's one. Then we did a lot of training, which required face to face. So nobody was thinking of doing training in no, face to face setting. And many of the companies did not have a protocol for online. So that was a big hit. And I remember one day I was sitting down and thinking like, oh my God, like what am I going to tell? What am I going to tell my because I'd taken a small business loan to be able to secure my office, get furniture. I'm like, what am I going to me? I cannot go back and tell the bank it's not working out. No. I mean, I had left like a really great job. Like they were like, are you sure you want to go? Like I remember they had handed me back my resignation notice like twice. And they were like, are you sure? So it's like I'm like, I cannot go back and ask back for my job, but like that's not an option. And then one day I was sitting down and I said, you know what, let me go and set up my LinkedIn profile and put myself out there. I contacted a friend, and then I something let me go live today. And Jael, I went live. In the middle of my live, my phone fall down, blow though. Girl, when I tell you that thing hit me in my chest, like when I tell you it break my confidence, I tell myself, no, I'm not going on like that. I pick up my phone, I fix my hair, and I said, I'm so sorry, guys, the phone fell. And I just continued my little live. I end my life. And I decided I posting and reposting and sharing. Do you know, like literally 2 weeks later, a client reached out to me from Israel, and that client is with me still today. That became like just revolutionized the way I thought about my business, who I thought my clients were. Like I had to learn how to write contracts and put together those specific EOR agreements. It was just, and I was learning as I go. For anybody out there, I keep telling you, you don't become ready by waiting to become ready, to planning to be, you become ready by doing something. My girl, my brother, my sister, just jump. When you jump, you will do that because
Hey, you better hey.
yes, because business really, like, I didn't have any control of that. And till this day I tell those type of stories because they inspire me. But when it gets really difficult, like when I lose a client and they just and I budget
Those
them
are
money
the artists.
years, but JJL, I cry, and if my cry, I put on my little purple lipstick and I say nobody can cancel me. I am uncancelable, and I keep going.
I know
So
that is tough. It's tough when you lose clients and you feel okay, bye, boy. Like what am I gonna do
what's
next?
up?
And or what is the next move? But
Yeah.
being able to really pick yourself up and just go for it. I have a friend who is a major. She's an editor at a major magazine in the UK, and one of her motto is fake it till you make it,
Okay.
because she left when she left Canada. She never imagined that she would be the fashion editor for a huge magazine, where she gets to interview all these big artists and fashion gurus and all of that. And she says, when I was going for the job, I just faked it.
Yeah.
Like she had so much confidence in herself. She says, I know how to write. I mean, I went to school for that. But she says that extra charisma and everything that comes with it, and
Yes,
being
it
able
really
to
gives
just
you
feel on
that
the fly, you have to have that je ne
edge.
sais quoi for people to
Yeah.
want to hire you. And sometimes we go out there thinking that everybody's looking for that fancy CV that says we went to Harvard and we
Yeah.
went to Yale and we went to, yeah, they want to see that you have the education, but they also want to see that you have the fire, that you have you want to do it. You might not know how to freaking do it. There have been times when clients have come to me and say, "Oh, I don't know how. Can you do this for me?" I myself don't know how to do it, But you think I'm gonna tell them I don't know what to do? No,
You
there's
will
something
find
else
a
I
way.
will research. I will research, or I will call somebody. I will hire somebody to do it. If you ain't going nowhere, right? You're staying right here. So I respect what you're doing, and I love what you're doing. I absolutely, appreciate, you being able to pivot and develop your business to where it is today, where you have clientele from all over the world. How would you say outsourced development studio delivers value to clients?
I mean, for us, I think is understanding the concept of value. That's the first thing I often say. If I'm speaking to someone, if I'm hiring someone, if I am connecting with someone, and I realize that there's a disconnect with their value system, it's often a red flag for me. And we have this do no harm principle. Even if we are called to come in and do a development project to add value to a community, we don't want to go into that community coming with, oh, we know best, we've worked with this organization, we are international. Like, we do no harm. And one of the sort of overriding principles is that principle of ensuring that it's a mutual, exchange. While we are paid and while we will be remunerated, we will also make sure that we make business better for you. In fact, that's our catchphrase, making business better for you. So by the time we leave, if you don't have some kind of framework or model or toolkit, when we do trainings with our executives, we never leave without leaving them a toolkit or a handbook or something that they can go back and say, boy, Natasha, tell me you know how to do a feedback meeting. But look, I have my step-by-step guide. She had given me an example, of a template for doing a performance evaluation. They can always go back and refer to that. So that value, that person's, that impact and transform person's life, is one thing. I think the other thing that we are very excited about and passionate about is we have transformed ourselves constantly. So we realize that the world is not always going to be about training, and the world is not always going to be about necessarily outsourcing. There might be no jobs to outsource. So
Mhm.
we have realized that we need to create and we need to produce. And so we have subsidiaries now that focus on things that we feel is representative of the problems that we've seen, the gaps that we've seen, and other ways of adding value to our community. So whether it is through our Earth Gold superfoods, the range, or whether it is through our Earth Gold beauty, these are things that we have done that we feel, adds value to our community, but adds value to the people that we constantly connect with. I am very passionate about Dominica. Every time I jump on a call, I always tell persons that, hi, my name is Natasha. I am logging in from the paradise. I'm so sorry, guys. It's so sunny outside. And I always leave that meeting with a link on Discover Dominica, because I believe in Dominica. I love Dominica. I could have been anywhere else in the world, but I love my nature island. And I feel that part of our value is always putting out there, that we are unique people from a unique place at a unique time, and just making sure that when we leave people, they are transformed. So that's one of the things that we are very excited about. And if you come into our space, all our team members are happy. They sometimes say, hello, it's
The
time to
prerequisite.
you know. So it's a fun place to work, live and play. And if you are thinking of an outsourcer, you need someone to help you make sense of situations or circumstances or people or systems in Dominica. If you need to interact with a bank, if you need to interact with statutory boards, if you need to get your land title, whatever it is, if you need to train people, if you need to find people, we are the persons that you want to be speaking to.
Speaking of Earth Gold and all of the other earthly products that you have,
Yes.
check out Natasha for all of your African wear, because they just launched the Jazz and Creole theme. So check out Natasha. I'm sure she'll be able to, she'll share more. If you follow her um, on outsource development, or if you follow her on, I believe it's you have your Earth
Earth
Gold
Gold, yeah. So Earth Gold Experience has their
one.
own TikTok and Facebook
Yes.
pages.
So you can some people may have seen the video with me trying on all the beautiful the boo boo dresses and the kimonos and all of the different African attire that she normally has. I heard that she has a new shipment coming in, but I'm gonna have first dibs on it. I don't know about I'm making it public. I'll have first dibs on that ish. So back up.
Slowly itching my left ears.
Back the hell up. All right. I just want to kind of you to kind of give me a run through. Someone, can you walk us through the process of how a business will start working with you? So let's take it from the point of somebody finds your number, they see your video, they see this video, and they're like, okay, what does she do? Or how can she help me? Can you just walk us through the process
Yes, sure.
in simplest forms as possible?
Sure. So most persons would either have been referred, and they call or they send an email, or they may have found us through our social media on Facebook or probably our website. And the first step usually is we connect with them, and we put a booking in for a discovery call. And that discovery call would be either a Zoom meeting, or if they prefer face to face, they come into our office and we can have a face to face. And we just have this discovery conversation about, what are the challenges that they are trying to solve, or what are their needs. So they might say, oh, we're going to start a new business, we're going to open, I don't know, an executive VIP lounge, and we need someone to help us with the labor laws in Dominica, help us understand, the statutory requirements, how to navigate DSS and register for inland revenue, become tax, compliant, all of that. And so they would articulate that in the discovery call. After we've had the discovery call, we then send a follow up email outlining what we believe to be their need, and we would put that in a mini proposal, which would include scope of works. And right there within that proposal and those scopes of work, we would allow the clients to be able to, if they decided they wanted to work with us right away, they would have had an invoice. We would have signed that agreement in advance. So really, once they make a decision, it's just to countersign, send it back, and send the first payment, and then we're good to go. Now, this is generally how service related consulting,
Right.
interchanges happen. There are some things that are a little bit unique, where we may have to put in groundwork before we actually, and these are those unique special projects where you might have to do an assessment, you might have to go to the person's site or have a few conversations, and
Okay.
sometimes help the clients realize what they need. You basically test to see if what they want to do is possible within our island. I've had times when I've done groundwork and it's taken a whole year, and then boom, the first payment is will cover for that all of that support that I've given that person over the time. Or sometimes we do some exploratory work and they decide to go to another island, or they decide that we're not good for them at that point in time.
Okay.
And so it really just depends on what it is the clients work. But that is generally how we work. We usually listen to the clients, help them articulate what the need is and what the outcome is, because sometimes, because it's a special project, the client might not even know what it is they really need. And that's the part I like here about my job. I get to tell people what to do. But that's just a general overview of how we do business and connect with persons.
We've had a few people in the chat, as I mentioned, some people coming in saying, oh, it makes sense. So I'll just pull up some of the comments. So Alexa is saying she's great at tailoring training programs for your employees. So that's somebody that is bigging you up. Someone else I believe Alexa herself, she has a question. So I know that you are also working on new projects. Any new projects on stream. So she's trying to put the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, so I mean, we are always up to something. I mean, one of the things right now we have a few UNESCO projects that we're trying to get off the ground. This past year, I have been nominated as a peace leader. So it means that actively looking to provide support for organizations who are having, conflict within their workplace, or just trying to help their employees to, you know, understand why exactly. I mean, I'm sure somebody have asked you, but why you like that now before, or you've looked at someone or interacted with someone and thought to yourself, but why she like that now?
Why, like contentious or like?
No, just like they might be different. So like, why are they like that? Why does she behave like that? Well, you
I've
know,
never had that, but and I've never wondered why people behave that.
the way they are.
No, because I think because I don't judge people. So like I have zero, like I'm just like everybody's going through shit in their life, and
Yeah.
that allows them to have different behaviors. And who the hell am I? Because I'm probably going through
Yeah.
shit too, and they
And
probably.
that's great, Jelly, because if everybody was like that, I wouldn't have a job.
And honestly, like even sometimes I recall, like in my past employment, one specific employment, there was someone who came to apply for a job, and like everybody in the institution was just like red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, and they saw so many red flags, and I was like, yo, people just go for shit in their life, give the girl a chance, give it like. She ended up making me leave the job because because I didn't see all of those red flags.
Yeah.
Um, she ended up making me leave. I was just like, you know what, I cannot put up with this heifer anymore. So I left.
Mhm.
But I didn't. But it was not without me trying
Trying.
constantly to be like, you know what, like people go through stuff in life. Life be life in, and
All
you're
the
not
time.
going to be the perfect employee. Or some people think too that they go to work and they want to be friends with everybody they work with, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, we're
That
not
and
friends.
that's where I always say that's one of my favorite things to facilitate is helping people understand, how to leverage your corporate, professional relationships as opposed to your private relationships. Because you spend so much time with people in the workplace, it's so easy to see like we
So
have
difficult for me to be besties with people I work with.
well, most people, it's so easy for them to be besties.
Not me.
It can be
Probably
a
I'm wired differently. I'm
so
always just like we are here
to
because we're
work.
almost forced to be here together. We're not here because we chose to be
Just
here
to work.
together,
Yeah.
right? So that's how I look at it, and I'm just like, we're just gonna have to learn to work with each other, our personalities and our periods.
So basically, that's one of the projects that I want people to, be able to figure out their personalities and their periods as
And their
well.
periods.
Exactly. That's one. I also want to write. I also want to. I've done um my first children's book, and I want to release a few others. That's coming soon. But I would really like to. Like to write my first novel.
Ooh,
And
I'm in the
yeah.
process, Natasha.
Yes. So
Welcome to the club. I just started.
it can be a lot, but so yeah, so these are some of the things that and of course going to islands. I have a 7 island project that I
Oh,
am
wow.
so there's a few little things and yeah, spiritually is also something that is a project for me. I'm also trying to be more embracing of myself and my role in terms of how I support people. There's so many hurting people out there, Jael, and I feel if we can sort of all ascend. So I'm trying to ascend and make sure that spiritually I'm not only right with God, but I don't allow my title as a CEO or my relationships in my corporate setting to sort of dim my passion for making sure that persons around me are taken care of. So yeah, that's without letting too much out of the bag.
I know she tried. She tried to keep it under wrap as much as possible. Kimora is saying, amazing job, Tasha. I'm proud of you too. That's Kimora Hodge Francis.
Oh,
Um, we getting a few comments. Tyrone is said, would you encourage more people to have their own business? What are the pros and cons?
I definitely would encourage persons to create. I think about owning a business as being in create mode. Being in create mode. I feel like when you are reliant on your 9 to 5, which is something that a lot of persons maybe don't always think about. I feel like you are more in consumption mode in the sense that you are waiting for your salary to hit. And usually what happens is you have all of these things that you have to pay, at the end of the month, as opposed to when you're actively creating, you are being a little bit more strategic because there's the element of investment, there's the element of risk, and there's the element of return, and that is something that you are not always able to do when you are, you know, in a 9 to 5
Mhm.
scenario. So I would encourage persons to that side hustle may not always be like a hustle. It could be a passion. It could be you love putting on makeup. You're really good at it. You have an eye for like really good fashion. You are great at speaking. You might be great at singing, and you just invest your time into being paid value, exchanging value with persons who find value in that skill set. I cannot sing to save my life. Me, I like to
I
sing.
just talk. I just sing. Nothing. I just sing. Talk. I just talk.
Precisely. But people are willing to pay for you to talk in the way that you are talking because you are bringing your other creative
Well,
endeavor.
I have a whole video out there and a whole song. So
So I would encourage people to create, and that's what it is. Jail, it's your creativity. You cannot, so I would encourage people then to the second part of I mean, if
the
just
pros
before I go on, I remember there was a time when I could not be paid a certain amount within my job because I would be paid more than my senior manager. I remember another situation where when I negotiated my pay, because when it comes to negotiating, that's my thing. When I negotiated my pay, they had to increase the pay of my senior because then I would be have been earning more.
and
So when I got that increase, that senior got an increase. So when I think about that and like no, I mean, I don't have to. If I want to get on a cruise and go on a cruise with my family, I can do that. If I want to take a few days off, I can do that. The cons, you think that you can do that, but sometimes you cannot because
I love how you say that. It's like
you know,
I can take a cruise, but I can't.
cannot. Much times the rain falling. I mean, I live in the valley, so rain always falling. I get my daughter ready and I tell my husband, baby, okay, I'll see him today. Then when he come back, I dress and he say, baby, what happened? I say, baby, I forget. I have to go and do this. I have that thing. I have that what I have to write. I have that project. He say, okay. So he's heard it all before. You feel like when you own your own business that you're going to, but sometimes you work just as hard, even harder because you want to excel. So that's kind of like the
Do you
cons.
feel? Do
Always
you
have a balance.
do you feel like you're always chasing? Like do you? Because I feel like I'm always as an entrepreneur. I feel like when have moments of downtime, I need when I'm busy to just make the most of it because when the downtime comes, when the down periods come, you want to make sure that you have enough, So do you get that feeling that
Yes, I feel that way, and I sometimes I wonder if it's a personality thing, or if it's just part of what happens, and that's why I spoke to the spirituality side because Like when certain things happen, it forces me to have perspective. Like for example, a few weeks ago, part of Old Street was impacted by a
But
fire. The
that was
persons would have seen outsource like coming out to, to facilitate the firemen, making sure they had something, hot to drink and food to eat, just to it, because I understand what it's like to work hard at something and lose it. I've you plan things and they don't work out the way that, and but to see like everything that you've worked for just burn down, and there were some persons who lost absolutely everything.
everything. Yeah.
So when like those things happen, it reminds me that I'm not here on this earth to just go all about saying outsource, make business better for everybody. No, that's not my job. My role here is to use my voice and to experience my humanity in the now. So don't know if that's experience or that's getting older or what it is, but I feel like as I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40, and not like you, Jael, closer to 40. I'm closer to 50.
And I'm 25. I don't know what you're talking
Oh
about.
my gosh.
I'm 25. And everything, including my knees, tell me I'm
Okay.
okay.
Woo! Okay. That's your story and you're sticking to it. You know what? I need to take a page out of that book. But
Right.
when you have those, moments, it brings you perspective and it makes you realize like life cannot be about chasing. Like when Hurricane Maria happened, like usually I'm the one to get up and run and go. Like that morning, I was sitting in my chair and my husband was the one doing everything because it like I realized like, oh my gosh, like things can just change in, and if you don't have your humanity, if you don't understand like when all these things that we do get stripped away, if you don't spend time building and developing that side of you, then what? So I feel like the past year I've been very cognizant of the fact that I don't want to just be so now I actually tell people I'm not available or I am booked or I don't like. Oh, I remember when I just started. Oh, I travel here, go there, go UN, go what the fuck. If you call me, I come in. No,
Wait, I come in.
just yes. I just have realized that there are other things, and so I don't chase as hard. But I would definitely say that in entrepreneurship, that cycle of going
Mhm.
for it and trying to strategize and okay, if you open this subsidiary and okay, let's do a training campaign and let's do this whatever development project and let's do a book and let's do like if you're not careful, oh my god, you will constantly be
And burnout.
burn out harder, burn out real hard. The other day I see
Let me tell you, I burnt out after carnival.
hmm. Well,
And let me tell you.
I don't jump carnival, but I understand what a burnout can be like.
Well, I don't consider myself to have jumped carnival. I
Hmm.
consider myself to have worked through carnival because every time you saw me, I was getting paid.
Yeah.
Every single time you saw me, I was getting paid, right? So I was working, but my work includes enjoying myself while I'm working, right? So I was living my best life. And my birthday happened to be right after carnival. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take it easy and whatnot. Girl, I slept Wednesday, I slept Thursday, I slept Friday, I slept Saturday, I slept Sunday. I was like, I went into Monday sleeping. I was like, oh my god. And for a moment there, I was like, am I pregnant? Why am I so
Oh,
like I just felt so drained. And I had to go back and start taking supplements and all of these
to
things. I
really
was
rejig yourself.
exhausted.
Yeah.
And and I mean that happens. And for me, it's sort of different from you for you as it is for me, because my jobs are heavy seasonal. So
Yeah.
seasonal times, and though I might say I don't want to chase during that time, you tend to be
You
forced
yes.
to chase during that time, because this company calls you and they say, "Oh, I have an event. Are you gonna come? Can you cover it?" This. So you end up
Yeah.
stretching like an octopus because you want to be everywhere so that you can maximize on that. But then after, when everything ends, but I was happy for the burnout because I didn't get sick, thankfully, because I kept myself like vitamins. Everything was like I have my concoction that I make, that I give to all my friends, that I take. One of my friends, she came over.
Yeah, I think a lot of professionals kind of do not do that. Because I literally remember you when I was working, I wasn't in my own office, but I was working for a very high profile client. And I remember my back went out. And that was because I was like sitting for like 15 hours a day, but without realizing it. You come in early and you leave
Especially
at
if you love it,
9.
especially if you love it too.
Some of us are just workaholics. You're just addicted to chasing those outcomes, making sure those deliverables happen. And my back went out, and
We need to love in our work.
I was on my back for a whole week. It was actually 2 weeks that I could not, my top and my bottom just disconnected. And I was like, whoa, like your body can just literally just tell you, I'm not getting up. I cannot get up. I'm tired. And that was like a big wake up call. So from that time, I try not. I actually in my office, I've invested in desks that can go up and down, so that I can, if I want to stand, I can stand. If my team wants to stand, they can stand. And I am a little bit more mindful in terms of, I know when I need to, what I need to do to make me feel good. And also I'm talking about wellness, not just, the five hierarchy of needs. I'm like talking about making sure you take my vitamin D, making sure my magnesium, making sure that
All,
I
all the vitamin D's you need to take.
have all my vitamins. And so you're not gonna make my pastor call me tonight, Jael. Say, wait, sister,
He probably on the call saying, "Rebuke her in Jesus' name."
name. But yes, I think a lot of professionals, like I always hear you, like I heard you telling people, if you're coming to Dominica, make sure you bring your vitamins, and you make sure because I think people, especially young people, they feel like they can just go and go and go and go and go.
I I make it myself and I take it. And I remember kind of on Monday, one of my closest friends, she came by and she's like, because I'm like queen of like everything. You come to my house, I probably have everything you need. When I say everything you need, not want, what you need. I'm not I don't collect a lot of things, but if you want flax seeds, I have flax seeds. If you want chia seeds, I have. If you want, certain things, So she came to my house and she came to see if I had something, some other thing. And I said to her, she says, "Oh, my throat is scratching." I was like, "Girl, look, take a tablespoon." I pour it. When I'm Pooders, I don't know if you saw when Pooders and them were at my house, cooking and stuff. I had all of them taking medication because I'm like, y'all are gonna be working on the road, and
Yeah.
it's not medication; it's all natural stuff that I made, myself. Y'all are gonna be on the road. You're gonna be going at it. You're gonna be interacting with a lot of people, mixing with people, hugging people coming from all different places. You don't know what they have. You don't know what they bring.
In high fiving, yes.
Everybody got sick, and I didn't get.
Yeah.
I didn't get a not a bit of a cold, not a bit, because I stay well ready. I
Yeah.
stay ready. We have to, because when you're an entrepreneur, you cannot afford to be sick.
Can't afford to be sick. Like that is something that my family, my family will tell you. When it comes to colds, like, oh no, so I sick in my little finger. My
Spread
husband has a cold. I'm very anal about that. Baby, you cannot sleep there. You have to go. And as the person, I spray doorknobs. Because
You
I've
see,
realized.
that I don't do. I don't do that. I'll tell
Yeah,
you why I don't do it.
I don't get sick when they have colds, because I've
I
realized.
don't do, why I don't do that. And I have kids. I have small kids. I don't do that because I feel like that is destroying our natural immunity. Like, I feel like we need to be exposed to certain things, and our body have to find a way to fight it.
Yeah.
And I say I fight it by what I ingest. So I make sure my body is
It's
sure.
good.
and all of those other things, those spraying and all of the, I personally, like, I personally think that it has caused us to be a bit like Crystal Fede, because I don't know, you remember days, we're about the same age, even if I say I'm 25, but there were days when you would see children come to school with cold running down their nose. That cannot happen now. Before a child has a cold,
Boom,
everybody's like,
boom.
go home, go home, go home. I'm like, why are all of us so like on edge about a silly cold? Like
Yes.
everybody's like, oh, they're low immune.
But I call
There was
you.
no, so when I was going to school, nobody had low immunity. Like it has changed. Like I don't understand. So
Yeah.
and I grew up in a household with a health professional. My mom was a district nurse. My mom, was very much all about, medicine and whatnot, but she also believed in remedies. She also believed in the power of the bush tea. She also believed in these things, right? And I try to practice that within my space as much as possible, to not be spraying,
And
or
their
even
thing.
hand sanitizing before eating. Go eat your food.
No, I mean, I'm not that anal, but like whenever there is like a physical threat, and
Yes, yes.
especially if I know, like on the third and the fourth, or the fourth and the fifth, I had to do training. And the week before, my husband and my daughter, I was taking my precautions, and that is the you know, and
You know
other
what you
things.
must.
See, and yeah, and not mask. I don't like mask, and I don't want to. Let me not say what I
Let's
believe.
not get into that. Let's not even get into that. Me, I'm an anti-masker as well. So like, I'm not, but for many different reasons, I respect people's opinion and they can choose to do whatever they want to, but I also believe I can choose to do whatever I want, and exercise same necessary precautions and cautions when it comes to my home and my family.
Yeah.
Natasha, I mean, you have shared so much with us. What advice would you give companies or even people who are considering outsourcing but haven't taken the next step or haven't taken that step yet?
The first thing I would say to them is reach out to outsource because there's so much research and data out there that is showing that not only is the world changing and moving, but we are getting closer to a situation where we may have less and less people within our workspaces, and so
Mhm.
we'll be forced to have to sort of rely on, co-located teams and hybrid teams to be actually able to cover certain capacities. And I would want to see, to them, don't be afraid to, think about the opportunity of bringing in talent or bringing in capacities, or finding persons who can make business better, and those persons may not necessarily have to be in the same country. So that's the first thing. Call outsource, and then we can have conversations. You can give you references and show you examples of projects that we've worked on. The other thing is, I would encourage persons to be open minded. um, the type of world that we're heading to is not a world that our parents have had to experience, and certainly the world that our children will come of age will be a world totally different from the world that we are in right now. So I would definitely encourage persons to, be open minded. Conflict is part of our existence. Change is part of our existence. And I'd also want to take this opportunity to thank my family. I mean, I have an amazing support system. I mean, apart from my husband, I have my mom and my dads. I say dads because I have two dads. I have a stepfather and I have my biological father, and they've both been very supportive of me. I also have sisters who, oh my God, my sisters have been, very supportive of me. I have my aunts and my uncles that they are there, always listening. Some of them might be on the live, loving and liking and listening, or will connect after. And I'm very grateful to have such a strong support system. Then I have my in-laws, my mother-in-law, and my brother-in-law, and persons who just just support and just are there when we need them the most. And I want to say thank you, because without those persons, I would not be able to have this experience and have this successful business. And of course, my team, who have all these great ideas of who we should talk to, where we should go, and what we should do, to Dr. Favor, um, Anthony, Dr. Precious Anthony, to the administrator Amara, and of course Ronisha, and to my sweet daddy T, Tyron Labad. Thank you so much for being part of my dreams and supporting Outsource.
How can people reach out to you, connect with you? How can businesses get to you?
The easiest way to get to us is through our contact numbers. So 225
767-225.
767-225-8606. Then you can also reach us via email at admin@outsourcejobsda.com. We have a social media platform, Facebook page, Outsource Development. We have a LinkedIn page, Outsource Development. We have a TikTok page, Outsource Development. We have an Instagram page, Outsource Development.
So admin at outsourcejobs.com, right? I've just
Jobsda.com.
jobsda.com.
Dot
So that's
com.
outsource admin at outsourcejobsda.com.
Jobsd.
All right, I've just shared with you guys on the live. I've just placed it in there. People are saying, Naomi saying, very inspired, very interesting, so inspiring. Um, um, Trying to get through the comments. Oh, yes, I have a full time job, but now I have my side hustle making gift baskets, Valentine's. Now I'm doing character Easter baskets and then Mother's Day baskets in Miami, and I'm registered. Kudos to you. Do your thing, do your thing. Okay, what's going on here? Let me just take this out. So here is the information, guys. I've shared it with all of you, and if you'd like to reach out, it's also pinned to the page. You can do so as well. Natasha, it was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much, Jael. I almost said Dr. Joseph. Papa. Thank you so
Well, you
much.
say that because I was telling someone, I got into do a PhD, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not
Well,
because
never say never.
I'm definitely not gonna do it now because they require me to be in person full time,
No.
and I
So
know this.
you cannot,
I
yeah.
know this. So I was reluctant to apply, and then I applied, and I was like,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so you can,
You never know. Maybe that's a prophecy. Maybe I saw that.
I'll probably just be an honorary doctor.
That's true.
Never you never know, right? But it was definitely wonderful having you on here with me, to share about your business, to share about your company and what you do. And I want to encourage folks, if they need to know more and or they're interested in utilizing your services, to please reach out. I have shared the information on all the platforms that we're live on, so it should show up on every single platform. I believe we're on 4 or 5 platforms. So you can reach out to Natasha and her team. You can contact them via email or telephone number 767-225-8606. Natasha, it was a pleasure.
Thank
Until
you so
next,
much.
until very soon. Because when
Yeah.
when those when those outfits drop,
Yes, until
I
very
come
soon.
in. I come in 5.
Maybe sooner.
I come in 4. I come in 3. I come in 2. Natasha, it was a pleasure having
Thank
you on the show here this evening. Have a good night.
you too. Night
Bye
night.
bye. All right, guys, that's it. That is where we wrap up tonight's show with Natasha Yeeloy Labad, representing the outsourced development. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys reach out to her if you require services. Such a phenomenal woman who knows how to do so many different things. And you can definitely find something that she can do for you. So reach out to her. I provided all of her information. Thank you, Alexia, saying need accounting services. Link me. She needs accounting services rapid. All right. It was a pleasure having you join us here this evening. Want to encourage you, if you're just coming on and you're missing the tail end of the conversation, we've just wrapped up, but I want to encourage you to share the live, hit that share button so that somebody else can get in on the conversation while you go back and watch it at your leisure. You can go back on YouTube at on my platform, Jael Joseph, and enjoy the show once again. Thanks again to all those of you who tuned in. Thanks again to Samaj, my producer. Be back tomorrow. Daddy Chess joins us, the current monarch. We're going to talk all things. You ready for the tea? Tune in. We're coming back with more tomorrow. Stay tuned. Until next time, I'm saying good night and goodbye.